Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Kevin Brick from brickbusinesslaw.com. Kevin is the founder and managing partner of the firm. He is a board-certified expert in business litigation, according to the Florida Bar. He is Martindale AV-rated, a member of the Florida Legal Elite, and has been rated one of the top 100 Bet the Company litigators in the nation. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Seth. Glad to be on with you.
Glad to have you here. Couple quick disclaimers first. Kevin is in the state of Florida. We are not giving any legal advice on today's podcast. If you're not in the state of Florida, seek appropriate representation where you are. And a special shout out to financial advisor Robert Lehman for the introduction. Kevin, let's go back in time a little bit. What inspired you to go to law school in the first place?
Well, I really was interested in helping businesses kind of all along. I was a business major in college, and then I did the sort of joint MBA law degree. I always thought I'd do like an in-house counsel kind of a job, but kind of as my career got going along, I became a little more focused on small businesses.
And then, okay, so you went for the JD MBA. So you knew right away. It wasn't like you tried a whole bunch of other specialties out of law school. Did you work for another firm, or did you start Brick Business Law as soon as you graduated?
So I had a couple stops. I worked at 2 other sort of small business law firms. I was an assistant state attorney for a few years, where I tried a bunch of cases here in Hillsborough County. And I also worked for a big tax consulting firm out of Atlanta. So I had a good mix of kind of like small law firm, government stuff, and bigger business. And so I took all that, and in 2015 decided to go out on my own and start Brick Business Law.
Well, congratulations on that. Now, you've achieved quite a few accolades along the way. Who is an ideal client for you now?
So what we try to do is focus on a particular size business, not really a specific industry, but those businesses that are kind of getting going. They have enough business and revenue where they've got legal issues, but they're not really having like an in-house counsel. So they have stuff they kind of want to bring in an outside person as an advisor, and then well, for us, like an ideal client is a small business. A lot of bigger firms, they don't love working with small businesses. They want to have big business clients. And so for us, we target those kind of mom and pop size businesses, maybe like the $1 to $5 million in revenue up to that size.
And then what are some of those common issues you're helping them with?
Well, so our services are sort of 3 categories. One is business litigation, it's kind of our biggest area of practice. And that's just, you think of disputes, informal, and then the ones that go to court, mediations, arbitrations, all that kind of stuff. The second category is transactions. So if somebody is buying or selling a business, investing in it. And the third is the one I kind of alluded to earlier, the outside general counsel. So just that day-to-day, contracts, collections, employment issues, that type of stuff.
And what are you finding are some of the biggest mistakes that business owners are making when it comes to those topics?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I saw out of the gate, so I'll just kind of rewind a little bit. one of the areas I really focused on when I started the firm was what you call a business divorce. You've got 2 or 3 business owners. They started the business, they got going, and then something went wrong, and now they got to find a way to pull apart, right? So when I was taking those kind of matters, I saw the same things coming up over and over again. One person was complaining that he was doing all the work, or the other person said, she invested all this money and the other person didn't, and something felt unequal in how they were distributing the work and the finances and those things. So what I saw sort of the end of doing things wrong a lot, right? So now when we have a lot of business owners that come in kind of in the initial stages or first years of the practice, we really try to get them to have sort of the standard operating agreement, shareholder agreement, those type of things that are going to head off problems before they start, at least to the extent they can have these discussions about if we go down this road or that road, how are we going to divide up work? When are we going to put more money in? What opportunities are we going after? And if things go wrong, how are we going to solve it? So once you have that roadmap in place, that solves a lot of problems. And as a result of a lot of businesses not doing it, we get a lot of litigation matters.
Absolutely. How, again, no legal advice on this podcast. How are you helping them solve those problems?
If there's some, well, I'll say this, if the business is successful, sometimes that creates one bucket of problems, right? If it's not successful, that creates another bucket. So if the business is successful and the people want to continue to work together, a lot of times we can sort of help them solve the problems. They anticipate new things, get documents in place where they should be, and work through, we can mediate problems between them, put plans in place to help them take the business from a stuck point to, continuing the success. When business owners internally, it's failing, it's not going well, a lot of times, that's the more adversarial situation. And, you get into litigation and those things, trying to get it handled in that way, which is not as much fun, but that's what happens a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. How are those clients finding you?
A couple of different ways. So, we are pretty laser focused on small business related issues. So a lot of other attorneys who handle other issues, they have a client who, if they only do estate planning or bankruptcy or something else, they get those clients, they often refer to us. So we get a lot of referrals from other attorneys in different practice areas. And then we do a lot of our own sort of business development and marketing. And those things take the form of kind of across the board. We've got some social media presence, some SEO and website and things we do to promote ourselves. So we get a big chunk of people that kind of come in, say, quote, off the street, but, virtually off the street, come into us that way.
That makes a lot of sense. With all the success you've had, what's your biggest challenge now? What are you working on?
So a couple years ago, I switched my role internally a little bit to where I was kind of the lead lawyer on a lot of stuff, to where, the sort of traditional going from working in the business to on the business. So my role is now more helping our lawyers be successful, helping our staff be successful. And it's more kind of, operationally, business development, getting through stuck points operationally, so everybody here can be successful, rather than just, me working on clients and being successful.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
So, I see a lot of people that come in here and they've got kind of like their dream, right? It's like they always wanted to open this business, or they always wanted to grow their business to some point. And when we can partner with them, be part of it, kind of help them get through those problems, and then 2 or 3 years into that relationship, to see that execution and then be successful. And now we're helping, not just the one location, but they've got 6 locations or something like that. And when we've been part of that story, that's kind of the most exciting thing for me.
Yeah, that's got to be a very good feeling. You've gotten quite a bit of recognition, a little bit of which we alluded to already. What do you attribute your success to? We don't, as a firm, we don't take on stuff that we don't do well. A couple of years ago, we decided we were going to focus on 2 kind of main things. One was, what type of work can we be excellent at, and what type of work are we very passionate about? And so when we started focusing on those things,
it kind of got to where we were like laser focused on business litigation, general counsel, those two areas. And I felt like as that went on and we were making those decisions sort of proactively, it was like we were doing things after a while, we're only doing things we're really good at and that we really cared about. And so that's kind of been the key ingredient, I think, over the last couple of years of having some recognition of that we're doing a really good job at the stuff we're doing.
That is awesome. And that speaks volumes to the quality of the work that you do, that you're getting a lot of business from your existing clients, referrals, word of mouth, that sort of thing. I know that you are committed to staying on top of what's going on, both in the legal industry and in the industries that you are serving. How do you keep in touch with trends? How do you see what's coming down the pike? How do you see, hey, cybersecurity is an issue now, but it wasn't 15, 20 years ago? Yeah.
A couple of I personally do a couple of things. So I'm involved in some other groups that are, where I'm kind of the only lawyer in the room. And, I'm with other people in industry and people who are executives. And I'm running a business, a law firm. So we kind of share things that are struggles, things that we see coming down the pipeline. And it's like, everybody's kind of got the same worries about things, in the economy or things with their employees or things like that. And so I'm able to anticipate somewhat, what's going on in other businesses just by having those sort of, meetings and interactions and relationships. And then here internally in the firm, we have pretty regular meetings with the attorneys and the team and kind of just talk about generally things that are going on, trends that we see. And so we try to share that knowledge internally so everybody's kind of on the same page with what they're seeing and what they anticipate.
Awesome. And for our folks who are watching and listening who want to learn more about you and the work that you're doing, where is the best place for us to send them?
Yeah, brickbusinesslaw.com is probably the best place to kind of go. You can go on there, set up a free consultation, call us directly. We've got offices in Tampa, St. Pete, and Sarasota. So we kind of serve all over Florida, but definitely have a location to come and meet in person when people want to do that as well.
All right. Well, we greatly appreciate your time. This has been Seth Greene with Kevin Brick of brickbusinesslaw.com. Kevin, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. And enjoyed being with you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening, and we will talk to you or see you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.